What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream, and it is a big day today, people. Match day, Manchester City against Arsenal in the FA Cup. But we've come live today to talk about transfers, people. The stream is out tonight, 7:15. Make sure you join me for that watch along. Gonna be a big game. Can we get that psychological advantage over Pep Guardiola, over Manchester City? And listen, I said earlier on in the week that I don't think the FA Cup is the be-all and end-all. But at the same time, I would like to see us beat Manchester City and get that psychological advantage over them. And listen, it would certainly improve the mind games with Pep Guardiola, that is for sure. Big up to everyone tuned in. Hope you're well on this Friday match day. Make sure you smash the likes on this video. Hope you all like the new thumbnail. Thought it was a better upgrade than the one that I've been using, so keep your eye out for that. A few other things coming to the channel. Hopefully I'll be able to let you know later on the stream today. But big up to each and every one of you. And listen, let's talk transfers. Let's not mess about. Let's talk about what you're all here for. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Trying to hit 60k by midnight on Tuesday. Just a little psychological advantage, you know. Emirates Stadium, 60,000 capacity. I want a full Emirates by midnight. We are going to do 3 live streams on Tuesday, transfer deadline day. Shaw Sports News, people. Listen, we're here. You're never late for your own channel. Your man's always on time. Listen. As I always say, my time is it's an estimate. 2 o'clock, around 2 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? That's how we move. But listen, I will try and sort that out. Anyway, let's get into it. No messing about, people. Let's talk transfers. And we are here to talk about Moises Caicedo from Brighton. We heard yesterday that Arsenal were being linked with him. And I didn't take a lot of notice of the story, to be honest. We were being linked with a potential move for him, and I thought, yeah, whatever. You know, it's typical Arsenal. But today, they've made an offer, people. They have made an offer, and the offer has unfortunately been turned down, but negotiations are wide open at the moment. So, let's talk about Fabrizio. Fabrizio was the first one to discuss this story. He put it out this morning. Arsenal have submitted a £60 million offer to sign Moises Caicedo as their new midfielder. Chelsea had a £55 million bid verbal proposal rejected this January as Brighton hoped to keep the player, but Arsenal are now pushing. Negotiations enter into key stages for Caicedo. So, before we really break this down, and obviously the story has developed since, so I'm just going to start with the initial quotes and the initial story. So Arsenal have offered £60 million for Caicedo. No add-ons, and apparently all of the money up front. Just take the cash. Take the cash straight away. 80 million, £60 million, all up front. No add-ons, no messing about. Bosh. Now, part of me gets excited for it because he's a good player. I think he's somebody that could improve us. And he is somebody that I would be happy if we signed. However, they've publicly come out and said they want 75 million for him. Now, I know this is transfer negotiations, and I know you don't just offer somebody what they're asking for the player. I understand that. I know how that works. What my kind of issue with this is they've publicly said 75 million or don't even bother turning up, right? Chelsea have offered 55. We offered 60. They were never going to look at 60 and go, oh my God, £5 million more. We're going to do the deal. They were never going to take £60 million. What I'm sort of saying with this, I hope that Arsenal are serious about signing him. And some of you will be thinking, well, what do you mean serious about signing him? They've offered 60 million. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Not everybody that offers for a player actually really wants to sign that player. And it sounds crazy, and I've heard it in football. I've heard it from agents. I've been at clubs. Clubs will make offers to calm the fan base down. Well, we tried. We offered 60 million for Caicedo. We were serious, but we didn't get him. Did we think 60 million was going to be offered? and accepted? No. They've said publicly 75 million minimum to even talk. We've turned up with 60. Fair enough. It's negotiations. You start low. You try and get the deal done maybe a little bit higher. Transfer window closes on Tuesday evening. They don't have a lot of time to mess about. They need to get this deal done if they're serious about getting the deal done in the first place. So the £60 million offer has been rejected. They're not interested. They've said come back higher than that or don't even bother, right? It's like the Snickers again, people. Bossman wants 80p. We've offered 50. He's not going to take it. Pay all the money. Yeah, the conspiracy theories. But listen, it happens in football, people. I'm telling you. Clubs will make offers for players they don't genuinely want or at a price that they know is not going to be accepted. Now, Chelsea are lurking in the background again. And we knew they was anyway because they offered... They've already offered 55 million. They want a midfield player and they're lurking in the background. Now, Chelsea today are in talks again with Benfica about Enzo Fernandez. Just interestingly enough, just to give you a bit of context, it's believed they're going to offer around £90 million plus a player. And the rumours saying one of those players could be Aubameyang. Which is interesting. Would Aubameyang go to Benfica? I'm not sure, but then it would be better than sitting on the bench at Chelsea. I want to know your thoughts on this offer, first of all. Brian said, how about 55 million with Sambi and a 33% sell-on clause? The Brooklyn way, Big C. Big up yourself, Brian. And I'm not sure they'd want Sambi. They'd probably rather just take the cash. Chelsea's offer 55 million with a 25-year contract. You know, he loves trying to get around negotiations. DV said, come on, bro. Chelsea bid 55 million. I think our bid was smart. It's negotiations. It is. But three things happen when you make that offer. Number one, you've offered £60 million up front. So Brighton know Arsenal have got cash on the hip, right? So we can't mess about. They know we've got dough. Second of all, it's a very public offer. It's everywhere. So they know that Chelsea are going to look at this deal again now and say, if we can't get Enzo, do we go back for Caicedo because Arsenal are looking at him? That might force their hand. It could also be a smokescreen. Arsenal might be looking at this and thinking, right, we want to sign Declan Rice in the summer. We make an offer for Caicedo. Chelsea jump in front of us and buy Caicedo. That gives us a free hit at Declan Rice in the summer. Think about it, people. Marcus Rashford celebration. In fact, Bukayo Saka celebration, he took it away from it. A lot of mind game. I may be completely wrong. Conspiracy theory business, I could be totally wrong. But it'll be very interesting to see what Arsenal do from this point of view. Big up the waffle. Hello, Curtis. You may remember me saying my granny had 3 to 6 months left a few weeks ago, but sadly she passed away 2 days ago. I'm heartbroken, but at least no more suffering. Thoughts go out to you and your family, bro. And listen, I'm glad you can tune in. Hopefully it cheers up your mood slightly. And yeah, big up to you for being brave and coming in the comments. No more than 80 million for me, Big C. Surely that money can get De Jong or Milinkovic-Savic. Let me develop the story, by the way. Shawspiracy, man, I'm telling you. Man, big up the waffler, man. Very brave to come in the chat. And I know a few of you have come in the chat and lost some people recently, man. So thoughts go out to all of you. Let me show you the development of the story, and then I'm going to put a poll up, as if I wasn't going to put a poll up. Now, the Daily Mail, the Mail Sport, they've come out. Let me just remove my little, let me get out of the way here. Arsenal are set to return with an improved offer for Moises Caicedo and a bid around £80 million. Yep, you heard that, people. £80 million may tempt Brighton into selling the midfielder. Arsenal are keen to sign a new midfielder to ensure their title race push isn't derailed. I mean, it's crazy, you know. Do you know what I thought to myself? I thought, I need to adjust my thinking slightly because I'm always screaming, spend the money, spend, go big, show your ambition, right? But something about me, when I see Arsenal and I'm seeing 80 million for Caicedo, something about that just doesn't sit right with me for some reason. I know I know, it's a complete contradiction. I'm asking Arsenal to just spend the money. I don't care where the money comes from. Spend it, get the player in. Let's not worry about the transfer fee. There's just something about £80 million for a player from Brighton. Just doesn't sit right with me. But if we sign him, it is what it is. I'll shamelessly say he's the new N'Golo Kante. And I won't hide from it. Is he worth £80 million? Does it matter if he's worth it? Anyway, because most of these players are overpriced. I genuinely think Chelsea have ruined the transfer market this January. Edu's definitely turned on the barbecue, man, for sure. The barbecue is sizzling, but would you go to 80 million? Or are you just, listen, I don't care, he's a quality player, get him in. Yes, in this market he is. He's for the future. Hey, Big C. 80 million is nothing. Kroenke is the richest man in his profession. Not even worth 45 mil, said Silva. Hell no, the market is finished. Ish said he's a baller. Let me get a poll up. Let's get the poll up, people. Strip club settings. Would you pay the 80 million? This is believed what Brighton are willing to take. Of course they are. Just to give you some context, right? Moises Caicedo has 2.5 years left on his contract. He earns £15,000 a week, which in the Premier League is like baby food. So no wonder he's desperate to move. Brighton want 80 million for Caicedo. Would you pay it? Is my question. Would you pay it? Like I said, with me, I think my thought process is that for £80 million, I feel like your club should be buying a superstar. I should be looking at the guy for 80 million and going, wow, what a signing. He completely transforms this team. He's world class. Now, I think that Caicedo is a very, very good player. And I don't blame Brighton one bit for what they're doing. They know that he can go for a fortune. McAllister will go for big money. It's just 80 million seems overpriced. But if Arsenal pay it, I'm not particularly going to complain because, like people have said, Kroenke is mega, mega rich. This is a drop in the ocean for him. He has the most expensive stadium in the world over there in LA. Gunnar Paul 657, Big C, huge fan, love the content. Look, Big C, if we get him, he's the best midfielder to ever grace a pitch. If we don't, I'm going full shameless settings with we just trying to drive up the price for Chelsea. And you are correct. If we sign him, it's the reborn N'Golo Kante. He's 21 years of age. He's one of the best box-to-box midfielders in the Prem, and he's world class. If we don't sign him, he's an Ecuadorian farmer, and I don't want nothing to do with him. He's a fraud, and we're driving up the price for Chelsea. You know how the thing goes. We're shameless with it. If we sign him, it's madness. Lee said, loving this channel, need more subscribers. Hey, we got a quality community, people. We're building nicely, man. Build them foundations properly, and, it will set right for the future. Gunnar Vettel said, in 2023, this is not the way it works, though, Curtis. To get a superstar, you're looking at 100 million plus. You're right. You are right. A superstar. If we're looking at that top... I mean, Haaland was an exception because he had a release clause that he signed a few years earlier. In reality, Haaland would have cost 150 to 200 million in a regular market. How much would Mbappe cost? How much would Haaland cost? How much would... Imagine how much Messi and Ronaldo would have cost if they was in their 20s now. You're probably looking 300 million for those guys. So the market is... I've always said this market is now polluted. Don't go into those waters unless you can swim. It's shark infested right now, people. Andrew Patch, thank you for the super sticker. Lay down the law said, so Caicedo is going to cost more than Tchouaméni. This market is madness. You got to remember, coming from the Premier League, Tchouaméni was coming from Monaco, French League. It is what it is, Premier League tax. I would say, and I agree with 33.5 is it. We've offered 60 million up front. Arsenal have offered 60 million up front, no add-ons, take the money. Apparently they want 75 to 80 for him, right? 75 to 80 million to accept the deal. Pay 60 now, give them 15 to 20 in add-ons. Surely you get the deal done around there. What I would be saying to Arsenal is, if you really want this guy, then put the money down for him, in my opinion. He's only going to get more expensive because Liverpool need midfielders. Man United need midfielders. Lots of other clubs will come in for him. If his season continues and 3 or 4 clubs try and get him in the summer, he might cost 80, 90 million pound. And I think he's a very, very good player. Is he worth 80 million pound? Absolutely no chance is he worth 80 million pounds. But what I'm saying is if Arsenal want him, and you think this is the kind of deal that gets you over the finish line, wins you the title, I don't particularly have a problem with Arsenal paying big money. Pay 60 up front, pay 20 in add-ons and get him. Because he's going to go Chelsea or Liverpool if he doesn't come to us. But like I said, unbelievable. February the 1st, 2021, Brighton paid £4 million for Moises Caicedo from Independiente in Ecuador. He was then loaned out to the Belgium League for 6 months, came back to Brighton at the start of last season, spent the first half of the season playing for the under-23 squad before getting into the first team towards the end of last season, making 8 Premier League appearances. He's made 18 Premier League appearances this season, and he's now being quoted at 80 million. 26 Premier League games he has played, and we're talking 80 million pounds. It is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. I think what you've got to look at is this, people. If you're signing a player from the Premier League and he's got over 2 years on his contract and there are big clubs trying to get him, you're gonna pay a fortune, right? Chelsea paid 60 million for Cucurella, a left back who is not even good. Let's be honest. He's looked like Hugh Wizzy at Chelsea. Shout out to Hugh. And you're talking about a box-to-box midfielder. He's 21 years of age. So they're going to sell it to Arsenal like, listen, you could have this guy at Arsenal for 10 years if he's as good as we think he is. So he earns £15,000 a week. So you can give him 90 grand a week for 5-6 years. He's going to be delighted. You don't have to give him 200k a week. Now, just to add a little bit more context to this situation with Moises Caicedo, he has changed his agent over the past few weeks. He's moved to a new agency. Now, new agents get paid one of 2 ways, people. The player signs a new contract at his existing club. They will get a signing on fee from that. Or the player joins another club. They're going to make far more money from him signing for Arsenal than him signing a new contract at Brighton. Brighton, he's on 15 grand. They could give him 60 grand. They don't make big money off that. They make big money if he joins Arsenal or Chelsea for 70 million quid, 10% signing on fee. That's how they're going to make their money. So this agency are going to be pushing for Caicedo to leave in this window. Now, there are also reports that Arsenal could look elsewhere. They're still being linked with the guy Zubimendi, who plays for Real Sociedad. The rumours were that he doesn't want to leave Spain mid-season and that he would rather stay until the end of the season. So that one looks like that could be out the window as well. So the options are limited. The options are limited. But they have made their move, and they know now that Arsenal fans will be looking at this and going, okay, you've made the move, now what? It's been rejected. Are you going to go again? Are you going to get this deal over the line, you know? And that's the thing. Curtis Edu, green screen incoming. You get Caicedo, I'll give you a green screen because I'll be shocked if Arsenal get that deal done. I really will. But let's see. Go get Basuma. Nah, that one's the... Onana apparently going to stay till the end of the season. Sign the Brighton scouts. Problem solved. They're legendary. Let me give you the last bit of context on this deal. Sami Mokbel and Dan Matthews, Daily Mail. Moises Caicedo is ready to force through a move to Arsenal or Chelsea this month. The player is considering his options now. When you read the full article in the Daily Mail, they are stating that Caicedo could even put in a transfer request between now and Tuesday night's deadline. He is desperate to leave in this window. They've added a full story, a little bit of context. He's one of 10 siblings. Apparently his family were very, very poor in Ecuador, struggled to even afford football boots, got himself a move. He's in a situation now where he can change him and his family's life. He becomes a multi-millionaire if he signs for Arsenal in this window. 70, 80 million pounds. Normally you'll get a 10% signing on fee. 7, 8 million pounds up front. He'll split some of that with his agent. He's a millionaire. He goes from 15 grand a week to 90 grand, 100 grand, and he plays for Arsenal. It's a dream come true for him if this deal happens. It will be interesting where Arsenal go with this. And Cliffo, I'm with you. Right, let me look at this from a positive point of view, right? I do want to look at it from a positive point of view. Arsenal are showing ambition in this window. Something I've consistently criticised this club about. It seems as if they're willing to break their transfer record. They offered huge money, of course, for Mudryk. We lost out in that deal eventually, but I think Arsenal are probably prepared to go to 70, 75 million to get this deal done if they think they can get it done. I want to add a little bit of context to this story. The positive thing, Arsenal showing ambition in a January window. Man United are looking for players, not making offers. Liverpool desperate for a midfielder, not making offers. We are the club at the top, showing ambition, trying to build from a position of strength. That is a positive thing. I just want Arsenal to get a big deal like this over the finish line. Don't make this PR. Don't make this we tried and we couldn't do it. If this is the guy you want, pay the money. 60 million up front we've offered. Surely if you offer 15, 20 million in achievable add-ons, you can get this deal done. I've got 2 questions to the community and I want you to discuss this with me in the comments. 2 questions. My first question, if Arsenal buy Caicedo, does he start? And some of you might think, that's crazy, of course he starts. But does he start? Because I'm looking at it like this. He's a box-to-box midfielder. I'm looking at his stats right now, people. Right? 1 goal and 1 assist this season in 18 games. So he's not a goal scorer. He's not a creator. He's a box-to-box, ball-winning midfielder. N'Golo Kante type of style. Right? He's not replacing Thomas Partey because he ain't better than Thomas Partey in that defensive role. I can tell you that for sure. Granit Xhaka's playing a far more attacking role this season. Is Caicedo going to replace Xhaka in that role that he's playing? I don't think he does. Now, yeah, you can rotate. If you play him with Partey, you've got 2 more defensive-minded players possibly. So my first question is that. Does he start at Arsenal if we sign him right now? And yeah, he doesn't play over Thomas Partey. You rotate him with Xhaka, but then you've got to play slightly different because he's a more defensive-minded player if you do get him. Even Sutherland's finally saying, if I'm honest, no. Eventually, and I think that's what it is. He's the long-term solution, right? Too much money, we could get better. Next season he will start. I think he's as good as Partey defensively, but going forward he's a bit techie. He's the future, 100%. I hear you on that. He's 21. He's 21. So there's no rush for him to really start now. And the second point I want to make is that we have a good relationship with Brighton. We have a good relationship. We negotiated Ben White. The first 2 offers were rejected and we got the deal done with the 3rd offer. We've obviously signed Trossard from them in this window. That's probably made it even more difficult to get Caicedo over the line because we've just given them 25 or 20 million pounds up front. They sold Basuma and Mopé and Cucurella in the summer for 100 million. They sold Ben White to us last summer for 50 million. They've built a new state-of-the-art training ground. They are not desperate to sell. They know that McAllister is going to be a 50 million pound player in the summer if someone comes for him. For me, I look at it like this. This is how I look at this, just to kind of wrap this up with Caicedo. If Arsenal feel like he can change this club and push us towards the title, I would say pay the money. I'm not going to get caught up in the money. I'm really not. Do I think he's worth it? No. But was Mudryk worth it? Most players are inflated nowadays. He's 21 years of age. Arsenal obviously rate him highly. Arteta's talent identification has been pretty good over recent years. And I think if Arsenal see him as a big player for the future, I've got no problem with Arsenal laying 70, 80 million down. Chelsea lay down 80 million on squad players. Man City spend 60 million on players and bench them. If we're going to swim with these sharks, we've got to be prepared for choppy waters in the ocean, people. This is what winning titles is about. You might have to pay 80 million for a guy that's worth 40 million, but that's the price you've got to pay. You're also stopping somebody else from buying him, so that's the positive of the situation. If we spend 80 million on him, with Trossard, with Kivior, and we win the title, nobody will care about spending £80 million on a player. Not being funny, we spend enough money as fans. This owner is one of the richest in world football. For me, not worth 80 million, but if that is the guy you want, pay the money for him. Pay it. Pay 60 up front and 20 in add-ons, and let's go and win this title, people. We spent 72 on Pepe, it didn't work out. That can't make you scared of spending money. City spent 60 for Rodri when they had Fernandinho. They then spent 45 on Phillips. They spent 45 on Nathan Ake. 2 weeks later, they bought Diaz for 65. That's the price of winning the title. We can't be accountants. I get it. From a football point of view. And I'm the worst for it because I get caught up on it. What? 80 million for a guy that's only been in the team a year? Nah, 80 million is like spending 40 million 2 years ago. You're just paying for potential. To get a ready-made player, you're probably going to have to spend 120. Let's go and win the league. What's a bigger regret for Arsenal? Not buying a midfielder and missing out on the title, or going for a top-quality midfielder to go and win that title? That, for me, is the better scenario. If you don't win the title, you've signed a 21-year-old with a massive future that is going to be at this club for years. So it's a no-brainer for me. Pay 60 up front, 20 in add-ons, get the deal done. Get the deal done for me. Let's go for a few super chats. I have been saving them, people. So if some of you have put super chats in, I have got them there to catch up on. Let me go through them. Mr. Modo, pay the 80 million. We are currently riding our luck with Partey, knowing very well that Partey has never had an injury-free season since joining us. And you're right. We are literally a hamstring, a tweak, a rolled ankle away from a midfield crisis. We'll look like a bagel. And it's as simple as that. We can't ride our luck. Big teams don't do that. Manchester City, no, listen, if Kyle Walker's out, Cancelo can go there. If Cancelo's out, they've got the young boy Rico Lewis. If Rodri's out, Gundogan can play. If Haaland's out, Alvarez can play. That's what you've got to do to win titles. This is the level we're competing with. Big up Andrew Patch with the super sticker. Really appreciate that, bro. Gunapol 657 exclusive. Man called him Rod Bowley, not even Todd. Rod Bowley offered 200 million, 150k a week, build Brighton a new pier with a comfy bench, and offered 2 bomb Brighton rivals. Oh, nah, Bournemouth and South. Listen, you know Todd Bowley's sitting there right now with money in his hand, thinking, listen, if I can't get Enzo Fernandez, let me go and buy this brother. You know, he won't be comfortable with that just going. And Graham Potter loves this guy as well. Luxall said Caicedo's age is attractive with Partey and Xhaka aging. This signing now, Rice in the summer, like-for-like swaps. Can you imagine a scenario where in the summer we sign Declan Rice or somebody like that, and we've got 4 midfielders of Caicedo, Declan Rice, Xhaka and Partey? Because for me, Lokonga goes in the summer. He's not good enough. And Mohamed El Neni goes in the summer. He could be injured for the rest of the season anyway. So can you imagine having 4 players of that quality in our midfield? It's a big, big difference. Pay the money, people. Brian Griffin, effed my ankle in 5-a-side, but finally get to catch a stream live out of work while I ice the tennis ball. Yes, to Caicedo. Big up Curtis every time. Get well soon, bro. I have to admit, when I played, ankle injury was one of my probably most frequent injuries. I wasn't injured often. But towards the end of my pro days, ankle injury was a regular one, man. Horrible injury. Rest, ice, compression, elevation. O'Malley said to Brighton he is worth 75 to 80 mil. If you lose him mid-season, you can't find a suitable replacement. We'll see them out of Europe. That risk is... You are absolutely spot on. You are absolutely spot on. The reality of football is a player is worth what somebody is willing to pay for him. It's as simple as that. He's worth what someone's willing to pay for him. Now, they're looking at it going, this guy could be the best box-to-box midfielder in the Premier League. There aren't many midfielders who really play like that and excel like that at the moment, since N'Golo Kante, really. So, he's 21. They're pushing for Europe. I don't think they've ever been in Europe, Brighton. They know they've lost Trossard. They're going to say, listen, if you want him, pay 75 million for him, 80 million for him. If not, do one. They don't need the cash. If Arsenal are serious, you go there and you take him off them, in my opinion. You go there, you lay down the dough, and you take him. Simple as that, people. Simple as that. Move like a big club. This is what, if you look over the years, this is how a number of clubs have won titles. By cherry-picking the lower clubs and taking their best players off them. Man United did it for a long time. Wayne Rooney, Rio Ferdinand, Valencia, Berbatov, Dwight York, Andy Cole, players that they took off lower clubs in the Premier League. We've kind of avoided the Premier League over the past few years. I think with this one, I don't mind Arsenal overpaying for him. I think he's a very big talent. His wages are very small. He's 21 years of age. It's a player that could be at the club for 7 or 8 years. You know. Elliot, thank you for the super chat. Big up Curtis, being around rich guys long enough. One thing they hate is losing out on the things they want. Believe me, the Kroenkes are peed off. They will push big time for Caicedo. Listen, that brother needs to start flexing. He's richer than Todd Boehly, yet Todd Boehly's making him look like a chump, signing all these players. So he needs to say, listen, man, you can't buy everyone. This was your main midfield target. We're taking him. We need him. So it is. This is how United won the league. Ferguson, okay, who's the best players at clubs outside the top 6 who I can cherry pick? Wayne Rooney from Everton, superstar. Rio Ferdinand. You know, Antonio Valencia was a vital player for them. They did it for years. Berbatov. So, get the player. What's the worst scenario for Arsenal? As I said, not buying a player and going, oh, we made an offer, we tried, or missing out on the title. Overpay for him and win the league for me. If you don't pay, you don't get it 100%. Dre said the offer was rejected. Yeah, but listen, as I said, and I'll just bring this up quick for anyone just tuned in. 3,000 of you in the chat already. Big up everyone. The Mail Sport saying Arsenal are set to return with an improved offer for Moises Caicedo. A bid around 80 million may tempt Brighton into selling the midfielder. Arsenal are keen to sign a new midfielder to ensure their title push isn't derailed. Now, as I said, Arsenal offered 60 million up front with no add-ons, right? Which, that encourages me. You know, that tells me they got a lot of cash on the hip. If they're offering 60, just take it instantly. All you got to do is manipulate the add-ons here and you can probably get this deal done. Emmanuel said, see, I'm happy with the way we are moving. Totally agree with you. I'm excited by the ambition. Get a midfielder done. Get it over the finish line. 80 is mental, but we've got to adjust. We've got to get our thought process out of Arsenal's transfer mentality. When we see Chelsea and Man City ripping the market apart, we want our club to do that. But when they do that, we feel a little bit uncomfortable with it. I do as well. I'm looking at 80 million for Caicedo going, damn, I don't even know how to deal with this. It's too much money. But at the same time, this is light work to these teams. This is light work to Chelsea. Chelsea will drop 80 million on him and bench him. It's light work. He's trying to win the title. We ain't in with them goldfish no more, people. This ain't Finding Nemo. You know what I'm saying? This is Jaws. You know what I mean? Dun, 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 dun. We're swimming with sharks right now. Pay 80 million and take him. Go on, win the title. No one will be talking about 80 million when Odegaard's showing armpits. Pay the 80 million. Ilya said 80 million for, better go for Bellingham. 80 million for Bellingham, bro. You got absolutely no chance. Real Madrid, City, Liverpool, they all want him. At least 120 for Bellingham. At least. Probably more. Deep blue sea settings, people. I'm telling you, this ain't Finding Nemo. We're swimming with the sharks now, people. 80 million for potential. That's the market right now. If we ain't ready for that, then move. You know what I mean? Somebody just said it's like paying £100 for a bottle of Prime. Mate. What's the best shop in Wakey? Wakey Wines. That's what it is. You want Prime? Pay the 100. Wakey Wines, people. Otherwise, get the cheap Lucozade Sport for 60p. You know how it goes, people. Swimming with sharks right now, you know. But hey, here's what it is. Let's move on from it. We'll end the poll as well in a second. Bushify, big up Curtis. Had your back on the Big Steve collab. Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Taking inflation into account, Big C, 100%. Slap it on the table like we'll whap straight round the cheeks of the Brighton manager. Just slap him, lick him down. Keep my wife's name out your mouth. Boop, straight round his face. Give me Caicedo. Whack. In fact, backhand him as well and just take him. Caicedo's trying. 10 siblings in one house. This brother grew up poor. He's desperate to join Arsenal. This is a dream move for him. Pay the money. Don't worry about it. Chelsea don't care that they paid 88 million for Mudryk. He's a baller. They wanted him. They pay the money. That's how rich people move, man. They don't ask the price. I want him. I buy him and I see what happens. Big up my brother Fran in the chat. Yes, dropping in for the like community. Hit the likes, people. Big up Fran. Doing great work on his crypto channel at the moment. Make sure you go and follow him and learn as well, people. You know, I'm still trying to learn with all this crypto stuff as well, man. Keep Caicedo's name out your mouth, I'm telling you. Whack! Just slap him, De Zerbi, straight round the cheeks. Ring up Danny Welbeck. Listen, Welbs, have a word with him. Trossard as well. And do what you need to do, man. Is he a United fan? I don't mind who he supports, bro. I don't mind who he supports. Can support whoever he wants. Just come and play for the mighty tabletop in Arsenal. That's all we're interested in. Let's end the poll. Let's end the poll with Caicedo. Would you pay 80 million British pounds to bring him to the carpet? I personally pay the money. Pay the damn money. Arsenal have penny pinched for a long time and missed out on big players. I've seen other clubs slap 80 million down like it's nothing. 100 million on Jack Grealish from Aston Villa. Come on, man. We're trying to win the league here. This can change our history. This can change our direction for a long, long time. Pay the money. Like Fran said, yesterday's price is not today's price. Get the deal locked. I trust Arteta with the talent ID. The Kroenkes need to back the brother. If he wants 80, give him the 80. He can win you the league and change this club for the next decade. Pay the damn money. I ain't interested. They don't mind us paying the money. You go and pay the money. Stop putting down silly offers. 60 million and a pound's probably pending, you know. Big up Francesca. Big up C-Unit. Big up yourself, man. Make sure you follow her on Twitter. Very talented artist. Does some great drawings with Arsenal players and stuff like that. So make sure you go and support part of the Arsenal community. Dre said, Fat Joe said that 2 years ago. Yesterday's price is not today's price. You seen it when Jadakiss won the Versus. You can't book him for the same price no more. The price just went up, people. The price just went up. Jashar, man, big up Curtis. If Chelsea are interested, he goes there, in my honest opinion. Playing for ex-manager Potter with more starting opportunities than Chelsea's pick. Well, that's the problem. Chelsea need a midfielder to go in right now, a Kante replacement. Can we even guarantee this guy first team football? Not because he's not better than Granit Xhaka, because the role that Granit Xhaka plays is not the role that he plays. It doesn't suit him. So I don't know. I don't know with that one. I got to be honest. Anyway, let's move on. I just wanted to throw this in there actually while we were talking because, you know, people saying Arsenal 80 million, shouldn't pay 80 million, blah, blah, blah. Listen, again, to me and you, today's Friday. It's match day. We play Manchester City. To Arsenal, they call it merch day, people. New merch. The second merch of the week. The third in 2 weeks with the pink jacket that they walked out in. The Arsenal France pack. They're smoking on the French pack, people. It's just a world tour right now. 2 days before Caribbean Carnival in London last year, they dropped the new Jamaica kit. They knew what they was doing. They played an absolute blinder. Everybody bought it. They know that Arsenal have deep-rooted connections to the French market. Thierry Henry, Arsene Wenger, Vieira, Petit. It's match day. We're top of the league. They're bringing out that French pack. They're smoking on that French pack, people. And I'm not going to lie. It's not bad. It's not bad. We spoke about the one earlier in the week. I wasn't impressed with that one earlier in the week. This one is not too bad. A little t-shirt on holiday with the French stripes down the side. A little bit of Vavavoom, 45 for the t-shirt, 75 for the hoodie. You beat Manchester City tonight, I could be in trouble, I can't lie. I'm not even going to lie. You know me, people, I'm shameless. We could have that. We could be smoking on that French pack by 10 o'clock tonight. Pyro said I've already ordered it. Nah, I ain't ordered it. You might have ordered it. I'm waiting on the result. We win tonight, it's Mbappe FC, man. The French pack for next day delivery. I'll just take the t-shirt. We'll just take the t-shirt, man. I can see me on holiday with the stripes down the side. Interesting how they got Kieran Tierney and Gabriel Jesus. You'd have thought Saliba would have been out for the Vavavoom settings. But, yeah, not going to lie. You beat Manchester City tonight. That t-shirt could be on its way to my house by tomorrow, next day delivery. I know I said Kroenke out, don't buy the merch. But we're top of the league and I'm shameless and you know it. So, yeah, victory tonight. That t-shirt finds its way to my house. I'll have that French pack as well, people. Vavavoom settings. Hey, Bobby, what is French for Vavavoom? The French connection, they've done me. Maybe Kieran Tierney's a French descendant. I don't know, maybe. But it is what it is. The parka, I mean, we're in the middle of winter now. I ain't spending big on a parka. I've already got one, so... yeah, man, I ain't going for the parka, but maybe the t-shirt for the spring, summer, French pack down the sides. It's not bad, to be fair. You beat Man City tonight. We may have to cop that next day. Delivery, people. Couple more super chats. TMB, see you, net. What we prefer, use the money to tie down our current stars or buy 100 million players. Also, if these DMs are 100 mil, how much is the general? 200. Straight away, though, if you're spending that much on a player to come in, you must have already pretty much secured the players that you're trying to negotiate with. I've heard for a long time that the Saka deal is done already. We heard Martinelli's interview saying, just give me the pen and I'll sign. I think the one they've had a little bit of trouble with is Saliba, if I'm being honest. From what I've heard from people, I think the likes of PSG and that are lurking in the background. So I think they're going to have to pay him a little bit more money. But in terms of Thomas Partey, listen, he's not worth 200 million because he's 29. That's the difference. Caicedo is 21. And people want to sign people now that have long-term sustainability in them. How long has Thomas Partey got at the top level? 2 years, 3 years, maybe? I don't know. You know, sometimes players, one summer, they just disappear. Their legs have gone. So nobody would pay huge money for Thomas Partey just for the fact he turns 30 this year. So, but I know what you're saying. He is better than Caicedo, that is for sure. Emmanuel said, hey, Big C, how about 60 mil plus Bambi? Rumours are they would rather just take the 65 mil. Comedy clips, I didn't know Nkunku to Chelsea was a done deal. This is what I'm saying, people. We're competing with lunatics out here. It's madness. Nkunku, you know, they signed this brother already and he's coming there in the summer. They're not ramping. We got to spend big. We got to spend big, people. Richard Reed, big up Big C. I remember the days when City and United would cherry pick our best lads. Let's move like a big club. That's what we got to do. The money's tough at the top, people. Caicedo wants the move. He's pushing for it. Let's get the deal done. 61% of you said you would pay 80 million for him. 39% think it's too much, people. Let's get the French merch and celebrate with Caicedo in it, people. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on. Caicedo to Arsenal is obviously lingering in the background. And I'm sure that will develop. One major positive, in my opinion, is the fact that we're playing tonight. Transfer window closes on Tuesday. It gives Arsenal a clear opportunity to go and get their transfer business sorted out. If they were playing on Sunday, they would have been preparing for a game. They're not getting back till Sunday night. This, you get your game done all weekend, Monday and Tuesday, to get your business done. Go big. Go big, Arsenal. We're trying to win the league. Let's not worry about the price. Spend the money. Let's go. Let's get that Ecuador pack through the door. Right, couple more bits of news before we look ahead briefly to tonight's game. I will be back at 7:15. That stream is up. Make sure you go and like that one. Hope you're in the chat tonight. It's going to be an epic watch-along. Arsenal have rejected an €8 million offer from Monaco for Sambi Lokonga. The initial rumour was that it was a loan offer. They're now saying it was an 8 million euros offer. And Arsenal have rejected it. It's around £6.5 million. This is a player that we paid £17 million for 18 months ago. And you've already had an £11 million deduction in his value from what clubs are offering for him. I would imagine he would have been keen to maybe take this move. Monaco, a beautiful part of the world. French league. Decent club, Monaco, growing up. Thierry Henry and a lot of players were there. Arsenal just don't have the options. I think if they was to make this offer in the summer, that Arsenal would probably sell him. If we had more strength in depth now, I think Arsenal would sell him now. The problem is we've only got Partey and Xhaka. El Neni we're waiting to see, but looks like he could be out for the season, possibly. So Arsenal actually can't afford to let him go. So Sambi offer has been rejected. Listen, I agree with a lot of you in the chat. I would have cut my losses. Put in an inflated sell-on clause in case he did well at Monaco. You never know. He might end up somewhere else. I would have potentially offered. I would have potentially accepted this. But we don't have the option, so we just can't, is the unfortunate thing. Darren said it's his 40th on Wednesday. I'm hoping for a good birthday gift from the Gooners. Happy birthday to you in advance, bro. Let's hope they can deliver tonight. Jay Black said, nah, let Lokonga earn what we spent on him. We ain't going to get our money back for him, that is for sure. Loan to buy. I think in the summer, you'll see an offer accepted for him. Maybe 10 million euros, something like that. Kind of shows how far his stock has fallen. Obviously, Monaco must still rate him from what he did in Anderlecht. They clearly haven't watched him play for Arsenal, but I think his time is coming to an end, I have to admit. But we'll see. You never know, people. Only takes an injury to Xhaka Partey suspension, and he's starting. So, you know, we're saying get rid of him. He could be in the team if things went wrong. Let's hope not, though. Let me get into these couple of super chats before we move on. Christian, Arsenal released French merch for the Saliba contract. They need the money. Saliba said, boy, man, you know what? PSG. They said, I tell you what, to make it feel like home, we'll release that French pack. You know, we'll make it feel like Paris. Hopefully that will make him sign the contract. Big up, Christian. Big up, Football Capo. Hope you're well, bro. Tierney, more time behind the camera than on the pitch. They said, hello, Kieran, lad. Yeah, you won't be playing this weekend, but we've got a photo shoot for you. Yeah, you're going to meet Gabriel Jesus because he's injured. They're going to meet you at Colney. You're going to wear some French clothes and promote the new merch because you won't be playing for the foreseeable future. So, Kieran Tierney is now model at Arsenal, people. Big up Football Capo, man. The Feel at Home pack for William Saliba. A little bit of bad news, though, people. And obviously, you've seen it, I'm sure. But I'm going to go over it again, and that is that Emile Smith Rowe is out injured for Arsenal's game tonight at Manchester City. A thigh issue, apparently a slight thigh strain, not related to the groin injury that he's had surgery on. His absence has been described as precautionary. Listen, clearly something has not been right, in my opinion, because he comes on for 15 minutes against Oxford after training for 2 weeks. We then go to Tottenham away, where we take off Martinelli and bring on Kieran Tierney left wing. Why did Smith Rowe not come on? He doesn't come on against Manchester United again. And then a week later, it's precautionary, he's out injured. I said to this guy in Orlando, for those that seen the vlog, are you fit, bruv? And he said, yeah. He's clearly not fit. This was in July in America. Listen, I feel sorry for him. It's not the end of the world. I don't think he's going to be out for a long time. They're saying precautionary. Hopefully available for next weekend against Everton. But it's a concern. It is a concern because he's a very talented player. Got a new contract. Got the number 10 shirt. We turned down offers from Aston Villa. We're just all hoping this isn't Jack Wilshere all over again. Excellent talent, young age, getting muscular injury problems. You know, I don't want to send panic mode through people. Still only 22. Hopefully it's just a slight setback. Setbacks happen when you have muscular injuries and you've had a big operation, which he has had. But you know Arsenal, we've got PTSD. Santi Cazorla, Abu Diaby, Thomas Rosicky, all these players, Jack Wilshere, that we've lost because of injuries. And I did say January, Smith Rowe would be like a new signing, as Dre said. I always give him the credit for that. It doesn't look like we're going to see him in January. So, listen, let's hope he's back next week. We can't afford him to be out for too long. He's been out for a long, long time. I would say with Arsenal, with Smith Rowe, you've almost, I think, for this season, got to almost write him off. And I don't mean write him off in terms of he can play for us this season, of course, but I don't think Arsenal should be looking at him and relying on him and thinking, right, he'll be back next week, so we might play against Everton. I think you've just got to look at it as a bonus. Listen, if he's available, we'll play him. If he's not, then we haven't relied on him anyway. You know, it's kind of like Tomiyasu last year. That season just really, it almost took him most of that season to get over that injury. And I almost feel like it could be that with Smith Rowe, in that it takes him the majority of the season to get over it. But hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully he's back next week. Franklin said it's true. We can't expect anything from ESR this season. Trossard gives us time for him to completely heal. That's a good point, and that was key in signing him. Big up Curtis. Looks like ESR needs to be on duties with Kieran Tierney. Good luck to ESR. Seems like players aged 21 are all going for 100 million based on potential. Sell him now? Nah, listen, you got to give him more time. We got Trossard, so let him get fit properly. Listen, it's not panic mode. It's just a shame. It's a shame, you know, because I would have liked to have seen him play tonight against Manchester City and given a chance for him to show what he's about on the big stage. Amaru said, I don't buy that excuse, Big C, but if ESR keeps going like that, will you bag him in the summer? I will, though. Sorry, no time for family talk. I give Smith Rowe another year. I wouldn't sell him in the summer for two reasons. Number one, I think he's got huge potential. He's 22, he's an England international. And second of all, his stock is low right now. You're not going to be able to sell him for 80 million like Caicedo because he hasn't played all season. So that's a red flag. So, for me, there's no way I'm selling Smith Rowe in the summer. You've got to at least stick by him till the end of next season and then weigh up the situation with his injuries. Darren, thank you for the super chat as well. People talking like 80 million signing of Mudryk was only money we had to spend. Seems like we were ready to spend more all along. January budget, 140 million plus. The thing is, though, Darren, the only thing I would say to that, is this the Mudryk money that we're spending on Caicedo? If they would have signed Mudryk for 80 million, would they have also been able to sign Caicedo for 80 million? It would have been interesting to see if Arsenal dropped 160 in a window, but yeah, at least they're showing ambition, you know. 3,200 of you in the chat, 40 of you on Twitch. Big up the whole C unit. Make sure you join me for the watch along tonight as well. We're trying to hit 60k by midnight on Tuesday. We'll be doing free transfer streams on deadline day on Tuesday, so keep it locked. Watch along tonight. Looking forward to that one. Massive game. I'm just quickly going to look ahead to the game. Hey, McLovin's here. He said, we're coming. City are coming for us tonight, people. City are coming, but we're coming for you, bro. We're top of the league. So psychologically, we're coming to your place to beat your team. But hey, we'll see how it goes. Let's pick the team for tonight. I've seen a few rumours. And I'm sure a few of you have seen them online. A lot of people, a lot of journalists saying that Trossard will start left wing tonight for Arsenal ahead of Martinelli. Martinelli has not been great in the last couple of games. And I think it's time to give Trossard his debut. A lot of people debating on social media, how strong should Arsenal go for this game? Some people saying FA Cup, not the priority, don't go full strength. Some people saying go full strength. We haven't got a game for 8 days after this. Opportunity to get a massive psychological advantage over Pep Guardiola. I'm caught in the middle, people. Stuck in the middle with you. Do. Moses to the left of me. Moses to the right here. I forget the words, but you know where I'm going with this. I would go strong, but not full strength, if you know what I mean. I would rotate the players where there isn't a huge level of drop-off. I would personally... Because the problem is, you've got to keep your squad hungry, right? And if you don't allow for a little bit of rotation, players feel like they're not going to get an opportunity. So for me, I would potentially play Matt Turner in goal tonight. Because if you look at it, we won the FA Cup with Emi Martinez in goal, who was second choice. We were forced to play him because of the injury to Leno. And we also won the FA Cup with Ospina in goal, who was our second choice keeper. So I'd be... The 3 players that I would change tonight, right? I'll tell you the 3. I would make 3 changes. I would play Tomiyasu. And I would play Trossard. They're the 3 changes that I would make tonight. Because I don't think there is any significant drop-off, really. Okay, Ramsdale is better than Turner. But I think you can get away. And I think Pep changes the goalkeeper tonight as well. And you've got to keep Matt Turner interested. Because when he comes into the Europa League, you've got to keep him on his toes. Some of you saying go full whack. And I understand people saying that. I just think I would change a few. I think I would change a few. Because I think we can get away with these guys. All of the rest, I would go full strength. So I'm going Saliba. I'm going Gabriel. I was tempted to give Kieran Tierney a game at left back. However, the fact that Zinchenko, former Manchester City player, is in great form. He'll be so motivated for this game. He's also missed 7 games this season through injury. So it's not like he's going to be tired. So yeah, I would start Zinni. I just think he'll be so motivated to play well against them that I would play him. Xhaka in midfield. I mean, unfortunately, you can't rotate Xhaka or Partey even if you wanted to because you can't play Sambi Lokonga. You could have gone Fabio Vieira over Odegaard, but I'm sticking with Odegaard because I think he's the key to unlocking that Manchester City back 4. So I would leave him in there. Again, he's in great form as well. And then the other 2, Eddie, I mean, you don't have a choice, but he's in good form anyway. He's earned his place. So you play Eddie through the middle. He's a striker. He's going to want to keep playing. And you play Saka, who's, you know, star boy. That would be my starting 11 for tonight. Matt Turner in goal. Tomiyasu at right back. Not dropping Ben White. I'm just giving him a rest. And I think Tomiyasu needs to stay involved. And he played well against Rashford when he came on last week. Like I said, I was tempted to play Kieran Tierney, but I just think Zinchenko's in that, you know, that NBA game back in the day. He's in that red zone where he's playing brilliant. And I just think being an ex-Man City player will be so fired up for the game. So I would play Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba, Tomiyasu, Partey, Xhaka, Odegaard, keep the midfield the same. And then the front 3, Trossard, a.k.a. Bossard, and Nketiah and Saka. Some people saying it's harsh on Tierney, but that's where I'm at. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Ish said talks are ongoing between Arsenal and Brighton for Moises Caicedo. Reports I am Alex Howell from BBC Sport. It looks as if at the moment, and I don't want to tempt fate here, it looks as if Arsenal are ahead of Chelsea in the running for Caicedo. Chelsea have gone back to go and get Enzo Fernandez. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see with that one. But this is the team that I would go for, people. Anybody going any different? Turner, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel. Yeah, same. Maybe Ben White at centre-back with Gabriel, possibly. McLovin saying we had Walker, Cancelo, Bernardo Silva, Foden, all out of form. Diaz back from injury. City are going to go full whack. Maybe they'll change the goalkeeper, which I've seen Pep do in the league. I'd love him to drop Haaland for obvious reasons. But because he's been benching a lot of his big players to prove a point, I think Pep's going to go pretty much full strength. Which, yeah, we don't want to see that. But it is what it is. You know, we're not going to get away with it, are we? He's not going to give us an easy route to the final. So, Kivior, for me, I wouldn't start him straight away. Because I think it's an opportunity for him to be ripped apart. I think you're setting him up. If he went in against Man City and got dealt with by Haaland, most of our fan base are going to be going, this guy's rubbish, what did we sign him for? Obviously, on the flip side, if he handled him, he looks like a superstar already. But I would just wait a little bit before I started Kivior. Zinni in midfield, Tierney at left back. You could do that if you wanted to give one of the midfielders a rest. That is an option, because I do feel a little bit disrespectful not giving Tierney a game here. Man City need to lay down the gauntlet. Turner, Tomiyasu, Tierney, Kivior, Holding, Sambi, Vieira, Trossard, Eddie, Marquinhos. Honestly, if we named... Don, I'm being honest, and I understand your thought process, because a lot of people have said this. Just rotate the team. Don't worry about it. If we name that team, I would turn the watch-along off before the game starts. That team loses 4-0 at least to Man City. That team. I would turn the watch-along off before the game kicks off if we name that side. Sambi in midfield with Vieira. Oh, come on. Holding and Kivior. That game gets locked off, Don. I gotta be honest. If that was we're playing Man City, people. This ain't no joke tick. Yeah, you can't turn up with that team, Don. That's 4-0. That's a hat trick for Haaland in the first half. I'm throwing in the white towel there. End the fight. Apollo Creed settings. Yeah, we're playing Man City, bro. We're not playing Macclesfield. Smash the like button, people. Let me get into these last few super chats. DJ Breeze, Big C, 50 Cent owes you a check. Window Shopper has officially gone platinum. Your vocals made it happen. Yeah, 50. Surely I got you, a few thousand people listening to that. Luca, big up yourself, bro. Do you think if we sign Caicedo, we will win the league? I think it gives us a much better opportunity than not having him, because it takes the pressure off Thomas Partey. Partey doesn't have to play Europa League. If you're away from home against a better team, you could go with a more defensive-minded pivot. It gives us great options. I would pay the money. Pay 60 up front, 20 in add-ons. Go and get him done. It's not our money. Show that ambition. Jashar, big up Curtis. Pep started extreme mind games against Spurs when he benched 9 players. Definitely a look what I can do with my squad, Arsenal. 100%. Pep knew what he was doing. Pep said, look, I'm 2-0 down against Tottenham here, and I've come back and beat them 4-2 with 5 of my best players on the bench. He ain't going to do us no favours tonight. I'm telling you, he's going to turn up at full whack, in my opinion, Pep. The only thing he might change is the goalkeeper, which he often does in the cup. Apollo Creed settings, man, I'm telling you. Rocky, throw in the towel. Apollo! It's all mad. You can't turn up with Sambi Lokonga in Manchester. That just can't happen. You can't do it, Marquinhos and them, man. Don Draper, big up yourself. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. Very good account. Caicedo versus Arsenal's midfielders in the league. Tackles and interceptions, 78 compared to Partey at 55. Saka at 32. Progressive passes, Partey 88. 85. Caicedo 80. Odegaard 80. Through balls, Odegaard 13 to Caicedo 7. Listen, he's a quality player, man. He's a quality player. Is he worth 80 million? Of course he's not. How many players do you get value for money for nowadays? Not many. If Arsenal want to win the league, as I said, this ain't Finding Nemo, it's Jaws, people. Shark-infested waters. You're going to have to pay big to get these players. He's 21. He could be at Arsenal for 10 years. He could be the new N'Golo Kante. Who knows? We missed out on Kante because we penny-pinched and wouldn't pay the agents the signing-on fee they were asking for. Ultimately, we missed out on one of the best box-to-box midfielders we've probably ever seen. Now, I'm not saying Caicedo becomes that, but there's a heck of a lot of potential there. And if Arteta's identified him, that ownership should back him and give him the money. Darren said, Moises to the left of me. Moises to the left of me. Partey to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Do, 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 do. That is a banger, by the way, Darren. That is a banger. Let's win the league, people. Let's win the league. Pay the money. If Bossman wants 80p for the Snickers, pay 80p for the Snickers, people. You know what I mean? That's what's got to happen. If they want 80 for Caicedo, pay the 80, man. Move like a big club. Get the deal done. Sammy Mockbell says Caicedo is ready to force the move to Arsenal in the transfer window. Reports saying he could hand in a transfer request over the weekend. Let's get this deal done. He wants to sign for us. Let's get him. Right, people. I will be back in 4 hours' time. 7:15 tonight. Manchester City against Arsenal. Looking forward to that game. Massive game for the football club. And let's hope we can slap Pep Guardiola round his bald head tonight. Join me at 7:15. Like this video. Subscribe to the channel. See you at 7:15. Arsenal against Manchester City in the FA Cup. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you all later, people. Bless.